In this video, I'm going to talk about how to become a premium brand and why being premium is so important. There's this whole notion of perceived value that even though there may be no difference in two similar products, the more expensive one is usually the one that sells more because by default people think that the cheaper one, there must be something wrong or insufficient with the cheaper one. And we see this, time and time again on Amazon and in, general in any market really, that, the more expensive products for premium brands always make more money. The example I've given on this page is wedding rings, and I've included one from Tiffany and an example of one from Blue Nile, which is another big jewellery site, which do very well, but not as well as Tiffany. So these two wedding rings are both platinum. They are literally identical in every way because platinum is 95% pure in most cases, and there's very little you can do with that other 5%. So they are completely identical. But because it's Tiffany, and Tiffany have, amazing packaging, and it's just, they're a very well-known brand, and and people, value their products extremely highly because of their history. They are able to charge literally double for exactly the same product and sell much more product than Blue Nile do. And Blue Nile is probably a $200-300 million company. Tiffany is I think a $4 billion company. So they charge more for everything and they make more money as a result. And this is something that you need to think about and take into Amazon. Now here are a few examples which I've just quickly looked up about how the more expensive product usually sells more. And with my own products, I see this time and time again that I'm charging more for an identical product and I outsell the cheaper brands and the cheaper products every time. For instance, let's have a look at these. These are cycling gloves, and you can see the more expensive glove, which is $17, is if you look at the number of reviews, you can usually gauge how well it's selling. And then you look at this other brand here, and the gloves are literally less than half the price. But the more expensive brand, if you compare 300 reviews to 35 reviews, they're selling, usually, it's sort of 10 times the amount. I mean, that's not an exact figure. They may not be selling 10 times the amount. It's basically just an estimation, but they are outselling them by a long way. Then let's have a look at these yoga balls, and I don't quite know what these do, but if you look at these two products here, I bet they're from the same place, the same factory in China. But if you look at the way they're presented, which one would you rather buy? This one or this one? I mean, this one is much more appealing. It's a better brand. It's got, a nice logo on it. It's a nice black color. It just, even though it's identical and will function in exactly the same way, this one is just selling, considerably more than this one. Plus, they're making considerably more money per sale because this one is double the price. So that's another good example of how, to outsell other people selling exactly the same product. You just make a little bit more effort up front with your packaging and your branding, and you'll end up selling more and making more money. This is just another little example. I mean, these are groove cleaners for golf clubs, and you can see here that this brand Frogger is charging, I think their average price would probably be, sort of $20 or something like that. And, they're obviously doing relatively well. They've got 120 reviews, which means they're probably selling, probably 20-30 products a day. And then you look at these other cheaper versions down here, so $7.95, $4.97 to $7.97. I mean, these guys are making like $2 a sale. But if you look at the number of reviews, they're doing okay. But these guys, and this one as well, doing better. Plus, they're making a lot more money per sale. They're definitely making $10 per sale on this, especially this one. And so this is the whole thing with branding. It can be, I guess, quite a nerve-wracking thing going onto Amazon with a new product and charging more than anyone else, but it does actually work pretty much every time. But people don't do it, usually because they're just worried about, being more expensive. But being more expensive, it works. You sell more and you make more money per sale. So let's look at how to, some of the important factors about becoming a premium brand. The first thing is to have a good brand name. And the example I give in the manual, I give examples of Coke and Adidas and Apple and, a lot of huge companies where the actual name of the company or the name of the brand has absolutely, zero relation to the product that they're selling. And, that's when you're thinking of a brand name, that's what you need to think about too. There's this great tool called Wordoid, and you can create, or it sort of generates brand names and short brand names with available domain names based on what you add into it. So I've given an example in the manual, but I've just looked up just another random example going back to paintbrushes that we were talking about. So if I wanted to sell paintbrushes on Amazon and it was a new product and a new brand I was creating, I would use Wordoid to create the brand name. And what I would do is to add in English here, I would select high quality. You could do some variations here. You could try beginning with art, and I'm using art as an example. It could be paint or it could be brushes. Again, you could try and find a brand name with adding the name art to the end of the name. So you could it could be Bob's Art or something like that. So, but in this example, I've put beginning with art. The length I've set at 10 characters as a maximum. And I've also opted to show available domain names because you will preferably want a .com domain name to go with your brand, even if you're selling on Amazon. And the reason why is because later on in the course, I'm going to show you how to drive Facebook traffic to your own website, collect leads, and then send them on to Amazon. But we'll talk about that a little later. So just in this example here, I had to sort of go through quite a number of pages to find something half decent. But you can carry on and on and on. I mean, this took me literally 3 minutes to find artisize.com, which it's not a great brand name, but it would definitely suffice. So once you've created your products and you're planning them out, they're being created by the manufacturer, you're going to need to start thinking about this. So that is a demonstration of Wordoid. Now, that's pretty much it for this section. The only other thing I wanted to mention is, when you're creating products under the same brand name, you need to keep your sort of design style consistent. You need to create, very nice packaging, product labels, and they all sort of need to fit together. We're going to talk about product packaging in another lesson.